Kirk's baby.
Kirk who? Kirk who?
Kirk Frost.
Rasheeda sat on the edge of the couch, her heart pounding as the reality sank in. She had always trusted Kirk, but seeing him kneeling in front of Jasmine with a ring was something she never expected. It felt like a scene from a heartbreaking movie. The room suddenly felt smaller, the walls closing in as memories of their love, struggles, and dreams played in her mind like a film on fast forward. "Can you believe this?" she whispered, her voice trembling. The mix of pain and anger inside her was overwhelming. After everything we've been through, he picks her? Her friends gathered around, sensing her pain. They tried to comfort her with kind words, but nothing could take away the deep wound of betrayal. She had stood by Kirk through thick and thin, always choosing to fight for their relationship. And now, he was proposing to someone else? The thought alone made her stomach turn. "I thought we were building a future together," she said, her voice filled with both disbelief and hurt. How could he just throw it all away? The pain was raw, like a fresh wound that refused to heal. Mia, one of her closest friends, leaned in and held her hand. "Rasheeda, you deserve so much better. You've been the backbone of this relationship. Don't let him make you feel small." Rasheeda wiped her tears, anger now replacing the sadness. "You're right. I won't let him define my worth. I've spent too long being the patient and understanding woman. This is my wake-up call." Her words were filled with bitterness, but beneath that, a new strength was growing. Her friends stood by her, reminding her of all the times she had sacrificed her happiness for Kirk. "You've given him everything," Mia said. "You've supported him through scandals, failures, and successes. And now, he treats you like you're disposable?" Rasheeda took a deep breath. "I was there when he needed me. I stood by his side when things got tough. And this is my reward? No, I'm done playing the fool." The room buzzed with energy. Rasheeda stood up, her face now set with determination. "If he thinks he can replace me like I'm nothing, he's in for a rude awakening. I'm not going to sit here and cry while he moves on like I never existed." She started pacing. "It's time for me to take control of my life. If he wants his fantasy with Jasmine, fine. But I'm rewriting my own story." Her friends nodded. In agreement, their support lifting her spirits. "Focus on yourself," Mia encouraged. "Get back to your music, your business. You have so much talent. Let it shine." Rasheeda smiled through her tears, a sense of clarity washing over her. "You're right. I've spent too much energy on him. Now it's time to invest in me." With every word, she felt lighter. The betrayal still hurt, but it no longer had power over her. "I refuse to be a side note in his drama," she said firmly. "He thinks he can break me? Watch me come back stronger." That night, as she and her friends talked about her future, Rasheeda felt something shift. The pain was still there, but now there was something else. Hope. She wasn't just surviving this heartbreak. She was rising from it, ready to reclaim her happiness. This wasn't the end of her story. It was just the beginning of a new chapter. Carly confronted Kirk, demanding the truth, but he had the audacity to lie straight to Jasmine's face. Without hesitation, he acted as if he had never even met her before, pretending she was a complete stranger. His expression was calm, his voice steady, as if their history didn't exist. Jasmine stood there, shocked, searching his face for any sign of honesty, but there was none. The deception was so bold it was almost unbelievable. Carly couldn't believe what she was hearing. She knew the truth, and so did Jasmine. Yet Kirk continued his act, refusing to admit what they all knew. Kirk tried to twist the story, insisting to Rasheeda that everything was just a joke. He claimed he had planned it all, knowing Carly would run straight to her with the news. With a confident smile, he acted as if it were some harmless prank, hoping she would believe him. But Rasheeda wasn't buying it. She saw right through his excuses. His attempt to cover up the truth only made things worse. Carly had already exposed everything, and no amount of smooth talking could change that. Kirk thought he could outsmart them, but the damage was already done. Carrie didn't come to play. She had all the proof needed to expose Kirk and Jasmine's secret relationship. She laid everything out, detail by detail, leaving no room for doubt. Kirk claimed he had only met Jasmine at a strip club, but things escalated quickly. One thing led to another, and before long, they had been together intimately. That wasn't even the worst part. Fast forward a bit, and now Jasmine was pregnant. As if that wasn't enough of a betrayal, Kirk had taken things even further.
You have a baby by this girl.
Do I have a baby? Do I look like I got a baby by?
Do you know her? Have you seen her before?
You don't know me?
I might have seen you in Atlanta.
Kirk, you don't know me.
Do I?
He moved Jasmine into the same building where he and Rasheeda used to live. She wasn't just in the neighborhood, she was living right downstairs from them. Jasmine had met Carter. She had spent time around Kirk's family, blending into his world, while Rasheeda had no idea what was happening behind her back. It was shocking, but Rasheeda still wasn't ready to believe everything. It was too much to take in at once. "I need proof," she said, refusing to be swayed by words alone. That's when Carrie dropped the final bombshell. She had receipts. Jasmine pulled out her phone and showed Rasheeda messages from Kirk. Rasheeda stared at the screen, reading through texts that left no doubt about what had been going on. Still, she wanted to be sure. "Let me see the number," she demanded, needing to confirm it for herself. But Jasmine shook her head. "He doesn't use his regular phone," she explained. "He has a whole separate phone just for this." That was when it truly hit Rasheeda. Kirk had gone to great lengths to keep this hidden. He had an entire second phone just to communicate with Jasmine, to make sure Rasheeda would never stumble across the messages. Then, the ultimate piece of evidence, Jasmine had a video. With a deep breath, Rasheeda watched as the truth played out on the screen. The video showed Jasmine in her apartment, holding the baby, and Kirk was right there beside her. He wasn't just visiting. He was comfortable, familiar, like he belonged there.
You got a baby.
Then came
with
the
some
moment
chick,
that
and
What?
I'm thinking it's a joke. So I'm looking like, okay, really? I got a baby with a chick, cool. But then the broad come walking out the back.
Well, who is the broad?
Some drunk broad stumbling at the bar and like,
What's her name?
Jasmine.
crushed any last bit of doubt Rasheeda had been holding on to. In the video, Jasmine turned to the baby and said, "Say hi to Daddy." And Kirk? He didn't correct her. He didn't deny it. He just stood there, holding the child, fully accepting the role. The betrayal burned deeper with every second of that video. Rasheeda had been in denial, trying to find some reason not to believe. But there it was, clear as day. She had spent years trusting Kirk, standing by his side through everything, and this was how he repaid her? And who could forget the moment when Rasheeda sat there, phone in hand, scrolling through the messy, heartbreaking text messages between Kirk and Jasmine. The things he had said, the promises he had made. It was all too much. And yet, as she confronted him, Kirk had the audacity to stand there, looking her in the eyes, and deny every word. "Come on, Kirk!" Rasheeda snapped, frustration boiling over. "How big of a liar can you be? The proof is right here in front of you." Even with the evidence staring him in the face, Kirk still refused to take responsibility. It was always excuses, always dodging the truth. But Rasheeda had reached her limit. She was done with the lies, done with the disrespect, and done with the man who clearly had no intention of changing his ways. For too long, Kirk had managed to avoid facing the consequences of his actions. He had sweet-talked, manipulated, and smoothed things over every time he got caught. But this time was different. Rasheeda wasn't backing down. She wasn't going to let him charm his way out of this one. The truth was out, and there was no running from it anymore. And if Kirk thought things were messy before, he was about to find out what real consequences looked like. Because this was just the beginning.